Hello, and welcome to the Embarcadero University course, Data Modeling with RStudio. In this session, we'll discuss importing and exporting of model metadata. We'll discuss sources and types of metadata. We'll walk through the actual import of metadata from another source. And then we'll turn around and show you how to export the metadata out to another third-party source. We'll start this session by showing you how you can import metadata. And really the main use case for this is if you just purchased and are converting from another modeling tool and you don't want to lose your investment in that modeling tool. So if you go up to File, Import File from External Metadata, you'll then be able to pick and choose from a number of different formats that you want to import metadata from. You'll notice that we have Irwin listed here. We have Sybase. We have some other IBM solutions here. So there's a lot of different solutions that you can import from, including some business intelligence and data warehousing ETL platforms. In this case, we want to import an Irwin 7 model from version 7. So I'll select that from the drop down, and then we'll pick Browse to the model here. And we have this eMovies listed here for me. And if you have Irwin on your machine, you can browse to a .irwin file. If you don't, then you'll need the person that's going to give that model to you to save it as the Irwin XML file. And the best format to use is the repository XML format. So in this case, this eMovies is XML. I'll hit open, and then there's some other options here to import from import the UDPs, the relationship names, subject areas, and that sort of thing. And then the latest version and a consistency check. If we continue on through, we'll ask you if we want to override that. We'll say yes, and then it'll give you a log here of any consistency checks. Now you might get some, and you'll see here there's an attribute that's null value that's part of a candidate key. Irwin may allow you to do that. The bridge will check for that. If we hit finish, then it will load it into RStudio. You'll notice here from the tree that we import the entities. If we double click here, you'll see any definition that's there. If you go to the attributes, you'll see the definition as well. You'll also see any supertype subtypes, and any subject areas in Irwin will be converted to submodels in RStudio. If you go to the Data Dictionary tab, you'll see any attachments that you have, or any UDPs, they'll come over as attachments. Defaults will come over. Any reference values will be converted. And then any domains or user data types. We can look over on the right here as well to see that any shapes were converted. We'll just fit into the window here and open up our overview window, and this will allow us to pan around the model. You'll see the drawing shapes come across, the coloring comes across. So that's just a quick overview of how to import metadata. Now let's look at exporting metadata. In this case, you can use the submodels to export just those objects to a particular metadata source. In this case, we'll actually export the entire logical model. So we'll right-click, go to Export Model Metadata, and then we'll be presented with the same wizard that we used to import the metadata from. And we'll have the same list of sources that we want to export to. In this case, we'll choose the OMG CWM XMI. We'll hit next, and we'll see a log of any consistency checks or errors, messages, and then I can hit finish. Now if we go to a browser, we can actually take a look at that particular file, and you'll see that that eMovies model has been exported. They'll see, some of the table names, some of the primary key names, and that metadata. If any other source or application can import CWM XMI, they'd be able to read in and interpret this metadata. So that concludes this session on importing and exporting metadata.